Alright, let's put you guys maybe a little over this way. Trying to find a comfortable spot on the snow. Something like that. Sitter. Okay, well, I'm just out here enjoying the morning. I had the dog with me, but I don't know where he went. And since I was going to sharpen these things up anyways, I thought I might as well just do a live stream about it. Hoof knives. Okay, this is, look at me. All right, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. All right. Put some cushions on the chairs because they're a little chilly. The cushions are not. Okay, so for everybody, it's weird because the horses are staring at me now that I'm starting to talk. In talking about hoof knives, I know I've got horses' hooves and stuff like that, and I did a video a little while back talking about, you know, if you want to get started on doing your horse's hooves, what you can do, what you want to think about, tools that you're going to need, and stuff like that. So I thought I would just talk about sharpening the knives. The question comes up an awful lot when you go to buy one of these things. They come really sharp, super sharp, and you use them your first, second, if you're lucky, maybe your third trim, and then they're dull and you're fighting it. And as we know, when you're fighting a dull knife, you have a higher chance of getting hurt. Just like in the kitchen, if you got dull knives, you're more likely to cut yourself with a dull knife than a sharp knife. So, first thing is, well, let's work on a one-sided knife first. So this hoof knife has just one side that is, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but maybe that side. Just this side is the sharp side, cutting side. And some of them don't. Some of them have more than one side. So just to give you an idea, this one has two sides that are sharp. I like those ones quite a bit. But these ones are really good when you really gotta, I mean, some people use these exclusively, so it gives a nice, there's the dull side on this side that you can rest your hand on. So, makes it easier to cut. All right, moving on. So, when you go to sharpen these things, just like any other knife that has a one-sided bevel, there's just one side that needs to be sharpened on, and the other side doesn't. The first thing I would recommend, I mean, it's really simple. There's a lot of tutorials out there, obviously, but you can look those up. And some people make it look really super easy, but I can tell you that sharpening a hoof knife is actually quite hard because of that curl on the end. You can see that. You know, that little curl at the end is the hardest part to get just right. So you have to kind of get used to it and work at it a bit and see what you can get done with practice. But more or less, you're just going to take basic sharpening tools like a file for chainsaws, or construction blades, things that are used, gardening blades and stuff like that. And it's just a very basic, small file. Nothing exciting with this thing. Oh, here comes Zeus. Can you see him? Where is he? Right there. So we got the dog as well. Now these files are, they're rough but not too rough kind of thing. generally they're sold as chainsaw sharpeners and stuff like that, or maybe hunting knife sharpeners. Anyhow, the reason these are good is because they're small and you're not really working with a very big knife. And so when you're working with these, you can make just small changes on your knives, and it turns into a lot of work when they're dull. You just want to not trim anymore. You start to hate trimming. So okay, so let's talk about what you're looking to do when you go to sharpen these things. Now, there's already going to be a bit of a bevel on these, and it's a bit of a dry subject. I totally get that, but I'm going to be doing this anyway, so I thought I'll just bring you guys along. And the dog's here. Hi, Zeus. What are you doing, buddy? Now I got my coffee. I got my dog. Jen's inside doing something. I think she's coming out. Beautiful morning. We went for a walk in the forest. So that was nice. All right. So it's already going to have some kind of bevel to it. You can change that bevel, but generally you want to kind of try to keep roundabouts where it is. So when you lay your file on here, you know, take a look at what it should be and sort of try to commit that to muscle memory. It's not easy, so I'll say again, this isn't an easy job. This isn't something that you just pick up and do. You have to pick it up and 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 pick it up some more. Anyhow, so we're going to start off with figuring out what that angle is. I mean, I already kind of know. I've probably already made my own angle of these things. And the other thing about sharpening them regularly is that you will have to work less. So if you wait and you wait and you wait, and then you have to do it, then you're taking off. You have to take off even more, and it's more work. So the more often you do it, the more maintenance you sort of keep up, the better. So let's get started on this idea of what we're doing. So the concept is simple, relatively. You're going to keep that bevel there, and you're just going to slide your file along it. And so then you can get started with this edge. Oh, Zeus has got himself a squirrel. Oh, here comes Jen. So when you're doing this, you're just going to keep scraping along that edge, and you'll start to feel it get a little sharper. Now, here's the key. What's up, Jenny? Teaching people how to sharpen knives. It's fun. Sharpening knives is an exciting topic. Oh, already? Well, I'll see you shortly. Shouldn't be long. You need anything? Oh yeah. That. Well, coffee won't help. No, it'll make it worse. Poor Jenny, she's not feeling well. Off to the doctor. Okay, back to our topic at hand. Sorry for that interruption. But it's a live stream, so can't do anything about that. What do you think, Zeus? Did you get the squirrel? Okay, so going back to that, the sharpening happens, and there's no use to me doing this a million times and showing you, but I'll show you. It's just a normal one way, you know, listen to some music or talk to your buddies kind of sharpening process. Very, very monotonous. I mean, if you like this kind of thing, maybe that's good. And if you wanted to go the other way, you certainly can. You can bring it this way. But whatever you do, don't saw on it. Don't go back and forth. One way. This way, I don't care. But don't come up the blade at all. Now that may seem like, to some people who do this all the time, like, well, of course not. But, you know, maybe it isn't obvious, so I thought I'd say it. Now the key to this, the key to sharpening these knives, in my opinion, is making sure you don't have a little burr edge on the opposite side that you're sharpening on. So what'll happen is as you sharpen and sharpen and sharpen and sharpen and sharpen and sharpen, is that it'll start to curl the metal over the other side, and then you'll get what's called a burr. And when you get that burr, it's going to be a dull knife. It's not going to be sharp, it's going to be inaccurate. And so the key to this, when you're done this part of your main part of your blade, you want to take your file and just leaving it flat, you want to get rid of that burr. And it doesn't take much, so you don't really have to work hard at it. You don't want to make a bevel this way, you want it flat. You want to get rid of that burr. Now, okay, let's cover the curl before I get to the next step, and then this tutorial is complete. When you're doing the curl, you can still use one of these, but I have this thing that I got at a camping store, and it comes with a roundy bit of sharpening. And so, same thing, you figure out the angle that you're doing it at, and you just work the curl. And again, it's not easy, but the concept is simple. You want to do it till it's sharp. You want to go one way only. Don't saw on it back and forth. One way, up, 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 kind of thing. Then again, you'll have your burr on the back. Shave that off. Now, the final bit, when you get a little bit more particular about this kind of thing, so I'm just going to grab a bit of snow here, wash off this thing. What I have here is a polisher, a metal polisher, and it doesn't look like it sharpens anything. It's smooth, it's really, really smooth, but it's diamond dust on these things, and you want to keep them clean, like I just did now with the snow. Usually I just take it in some water and I just wash off, but inside all of the fine little diamond dust that's on these things, the metal will gather and stay, and it won't be effective anymore. It'll be useless. It'll just slide around. You think you're doing something, but you're not. When you're done sharpening the thing with your file, and you've made it pretty darn good, and it's kind of sharp, and you can feel it with your finger. You can scrape your finger along. You're like, ooh, that feels kind of catchy. You'll take your polisher, essentially, and you just continue with the same effect. Do, 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 do. Pretty boring. And it doesn't take a lot of this. This is not going to take a lot of stuff off. When you're done that, again, swipe across the bottom, flat. Flat, flat, flat. Don't make a bevel like this. Get rid of that tiny little burr you just created. And when you're done, you should have just this razor sharp thing. If you don't have a razor sharp thing, start over. There's a lot of knife here, a lot of metal here that you can take down. And hoof knives aren't that expensive. They take a long time to go through. So don't be afraid to kind of get in there and get it sharp. So, and that's hoof knife sharpening 101, the very basics. And I really doubt I have any questions. It's early morning. I didn't actually expect many people to be here, but that's fine because it gets recorded. YouTube records us, so it's an automatic video. I've got 3 knives to do. I don't know if I'll do them irritatingly on camera. Might. I'm going to stick the horses out pretty soon. It's super crunchy hard right now. A lot of ice in the arena. And usually the horses won't be so comfortable on that. It'd be the equivalent of walking around on super rocky ground. So I don't subject them to that. Just let them continue eating their breakfast. Anybody want to say hi to anybody? Here, come on. I'll grab a little bit of coffee before we go. And we'll be back. Let's go say hi to some horses. What the heck? So the beginning of this video, if you're just arriving, is all about sharpening hoof knives totally boring subject, but like wearing a life jacket, you don't need it till you need it. So, hi Ruli, did you want to come say hello to everybody? Or just me? What's going on, big girl? She says, no, I'm good. Okay. Let's go say hi to Gracie. Hopefully we've got a good internet connection. Should. Gracie, do you want to say hello to everybody? Oh. She says maybe. No? Yes? You are totally adorable. You and your little Arabian ears. Well, come here then. You can have scratches. She's thinking. She's interested. I got one ear. I have one ear. Still. Well, whatever. You're gonna make it over? You look like you're about to move. What if I come this way a little? I'm gonna scratch your butt. I can't reach. Whatever. So, morning horsey check as well as hoof trimming, tool sharpening. I don't know how well the Wi-Fi will carry. I think it didn't carry well down near Vinny because of that barn. Nobody wants to say hello. Springer, what about you, buddy? You want to say hello to everybody? What's going on, pal? He says, I'm just eating. Don't have much to say. Yep. So this is kind of what mornings are here. They're quiet. Peaceful. Say hello to everybody, but everybody's pretty calm. Even the dog. Right, Zeus? Zeus is famous now. Let's go see if we can carry all the way over to Vinny. Probably gonna do it. Hi, buddy. Do you want to be the first horse to say hello? Get some scratches? He says, sure. Why not? I like scratches. Oh, yeah. Good. Well, let's travel a little more. Still haven't seen the fish in a while. But the pond's defrosting, so that's cool. Oh, I'd imagine that the Wi-Fi is sort of failing a little over on this side, but we'll try anyways. Lena? What are you doing, big girl? Hang on, let me just put the legs down. There. I've got the right jacket on today, so I can give her scratches. You're getting a trim today. Today's your trim day. That's why we're sharpening knives. Right? See, if I wear my leather jacket, then her hair doesn't stick to me as much. But I gotta tuck in the sweater. Oh God. Alina. She's a sweetie. You just wait. Wait. Just wait, I'm still fixing it. Okay, you ready? I got it? Where is it? I've almost got it. Don't go too far for it. Ah, don't touch that. No, no, no. You'll break it. Oof. Okay, back up a little. Back up a little. Back up a little. There. Okay, right there. I should have called this stream Scratching Lena live stream. I wasn't expecting to come out here. Oof. See, that's what you turn into. I don't know if you can even see that, but other side. Oh. Ooh. That just comes right off. I just keep brushing and then I have no more Lena hair on me. Except for my jeans, I guess. Okay, watch out, coming through. Okay, I'm all done with you. Whew. Oh boy. So that's the Lena scratches of the morning. Moving on. Not really much to see back here with Luke and Peggy. They're just eating. Typical morning. Typical morning, nothing exciting. Right there. Okay, well. Take a look. All the snow is almost off the small or closed new arena. So that's exciting. Any comments? Oh, an impromptu live stream. You're correct. And good morning to you too. Yeah. Well, I was just going to sharpen some hooves. Zeus comes with me everywhere. And I thought, well, maybe somebody wants to learn how to do that. And check on the horses. I'm going to trim Lena today. I thought about doing a video about it, because some people have questions. Live streams are kind of hard because not everybody's available, especially when I do it without telling anybody that I'm going to just hop on. I'll talk quickly and then I'll probably end this here. And in about maybe a couple hours or so, I'll chuck some horses out and then just turn on the live stream again for you guys to watch like yesterday. It seemed to be popular. It doesn't cost me anything to do it. So that makes it nice. Anyways, back at my desk. My desk. Back in the office. It was an airplane. beautiful day to fly. It's cold, so that's ideal. The air's more dense. The sky looks beautiful. So that's hoof sharpening and horsey check for that matter. The very basics. Hi Zeus. Maintain your hoof knives as best as you can. Trimming with a dull knife will just it'll be harder. You won't like to trim. It'll make you unhappy. You make the horse unhappy because you're kind of really scraping away at them. And it's more dangerous because, as always, you know, you can cut yourself easier with a dull knife than you will a sharp knife, if using it properly, of course. So, anyhow, hoof trimming though. Again, I got to do Lena today and Roni. Today's Lena and Roni day for trimming. Few questions to answer. I guess I'll do a quick Q&A, and if birds are going crazy, if anybody has any more questions, ask away. But I expect a lot of people are not watching because it's early morning and it's Sunday and other things to do. First question is, how often do you trim horses? I get this question a lot. Generally, I advise every 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, a lot of people think that's a lot because they're used to every 6 weeks or something. 6 weeks is too long. It's just straight too long. You couldn't convince me. You just too set on it. Too set on 3 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks is getting up there. And the reason is because the hooves grow rather quickly. The horses are heavy. They're standing on this small area. And deviation of the hoof wall happens quickly. And when it does happen, it sort of continues to get worse and worse. And leaving it longer just means you got to go backwards further, usually. Cracks will start. In the environment that we have them living in, it's got to be more, it's got to represent nature a little bit better. And that's just the way it goes. I'll talk about that again more in the future, but common question, how often do you trim hooves? 3 to 4 weeks if you can. Shoeing is another story. I mean, I know that if you shoe your horse and if you were to get them done every 3 to 4 weeks, you'd go broke because shoeing a horse is a couple $100. If you spent $200 on feet every month, I wouldn't own horses either if I had to do that. It's pricey. A basic trim is anywhere between 30 and 50 or $60. So, you know, if they're barefoot. So then it's not so bad. But 3 to 4 weeks is what will keep them healthy. Hopefully growing without any deviations or problems. I don't know, it's a big topic, but there's the answer. It's a basic answer. The other question I usually get is how do you handle your horse when they're being trimmed or when you're trimming them? And I often tell people that I don't tie my horses up. In fact, I sometimes don't even put a halter on. I'll bring them into the arena and I'll ask them to stand around and I'll pick up their feet and trim them. Now, it's always a little easier if you've got a halter and a lead rope on them, because if they do go to wander off, you just catch them. You just, come here. And that's that. Right, Zeus? Up. Up. You're not a lap dog, are you? Up. Can you see him? He's right here. Yes, you're a good boy. What do you want? Oh, I already fed you breakfast. I did. You're famous now. You're an internet star. Superstar. Okay, where was I? How do you handle them? So, okay, so a good horse will stand. A good horse will just hang out, and stand, and be good about being trimmed. No different than you'd expect them to stand for the vet, stand for brushing, stand for saddling, stand for just the sake of standing. And you can't really practice that enough. So I don't tie them, or I try not to tie them. I try not to put a halter and lead rope on, have them just free. And a lot of my horses will just kind of hang out. Now for the ones that don't, the ones that maybe they're hoof care, I had a lady pop in and say she had her horse, it's one of the comments on one of the videos, and she had her horse shod, and she had her normal farrier that got sick or couldn't come or something like that. She called somebody else, and that farrier came out and had the mindset that no matter what, he was going to hold the foot, and the horse had a hard time with that. So he would fight. So this particular farrier supposedly got very mad and got mad at the lady, saying your horse isn't trained, it should hold its foot up for as long as I want. And essentially she told him to hit the skids, and she took her horse out of shoes, and her dad trimmed her horse. And when you think about the horses that are, there's a scale of difficulty to hold their feet. And I've dealt with a lot of horses that are wrecked physically. So we'll start with the physically wrecked ones. The physically wrecked ones can't hold their feet up. Something's wrong with them with another foot. Something's wrong with another leg. Something's wrong with more than one foot, more than one leg. Something's wrong with the muscles in the hind end, the front end. They're on a weird angle. They weren't prepared to pick up their foot. So it hurts. And sadly, a lot of stories that I hear are generally some farrier manhandling the horse into keeping his foot in the air. I'm going to bring you guys down a little because the sun's kind of cruising around. So bear with me while I adjust the camera. Okay. This way I'm not looking up. I can just look straight. Like that. Anyhow, so there's a lot of cases that people figure that a horse should hold their foot up for as long as you want them to. And physically, a lot of horses can't. It's really hard on them. And of course some horses can. Some horses just hold their feet up and that's that. So that's the physical aspect of some of these horses. I'll put this closer. You know, they're unable to. So the ones that aren't able to, you'll know it. You'll have a horse, or you'll see a horse and it's not able to walk around properly, especially on some surfaces. You know, any of the laminitic or foundered horses. There's been a time, I'll give you guys a story. So I was called out to this one place, and the lady was really upset, really upset about how her horse was moving around, how it was trimmed last. She was very sensitive to her horse and felt that her horse was in a lot of pain. I said, okay, so I go out and I go to check out this horse, and somebody's gone and sort of chopped the toes off, essentially. Like a real straight cut right off the front, with the idea that, you know, you bring back the toes, bring back the breakover. The breakover of a foot, if if this is a horse's foot and they go to walk forward, my fingertips are the breakover. So let's do that again. So if this is the ground and this is the foot, where the foot does this part, that's called the breakover point. They break over like a wave. And so the breakover point was brought back dramatically. And in some cases, it's kind of needed for sure, no doubt. In this case, I don't think it needed to have that done. But actually, the funny thing was, the bigger problem with the hoof wasn't the toe. It was the rest. It was trimmed at an odd angle that forced the toe down instead of being where it should have been. The bars were long, the frog was decrepit, and the heels were in the wrong place, and so on and so forth. So the funny thing was, visually, it looked awful because the toes were just chopped off. It was as if, you know, if a hoof looks kind of like, say, it looks like that. How am I going to do this? We need some. Here, let's do this. Let's use the trailer for contrast, and we'll do this. Okay, so if a horse's hoof looks kind of, let's make this smaller, like that, right? This horse had a hoof that looked like that. Now, sort of. I mean, it was a mole around there, but the whole front was gone. So even though it looked super strange, it wasn't the toe that I was worried about. So I told her so. I said, actually, the bigger problem is the bottom side. So, it's turning into a long story, isn't it? I got other things to do. Just talking to the internet. I don't know, maybe this is useful for you guys. And this isn't an uncommon story. So I'm just giving you this story with the idea that sometimes horses physically can't. Zeus is chewing on sticks. Hey, it's distracting, man. Look at him. Get it, Zeus. Where is it? Where's the stick? This is right here, man. It's chewing it, crunching away. It's like somebody eating cereal next to you or something, yeah? So, toe off, and I said, it's the underside. It's the bottom side of the hoof that's the problem. He says, oh, okay. So I go to lift up this foot, and immediately the horse indicates a little bit of distress, wants the hoof back rather quickly. So I clean and quickly do some stuff, and I put it down. I pick up again, and the horse is indicating that it just can't handle it. It wasn't a mental thing. It wasn't a problem with how it was going to handle it mentally. It was physical. So I said, okay, no problem. I go over to the other foot, and I give that a good clean. You get your hoof pick, and you clean everything out. And she wants that one back really quickly, too. I said, no problem. So clean it, pick it up again, clean it again, come back to the other foot, and now I'm able to hold that foot a little bit longer. It's not much longer, seconds, but in your, in your mind, as you trim, you do things, you start to register small incremental changes. So I get out my hoof knife, as we just finished talking about sharpening hoof knives. This is one of the reasons why you really, really want a sharp hoof knife. You need to work fast sometimes. So I get her hoof up, and I start scraping away all this overgrowth, all this stuff that's just stuck in there. And I give it back. And I pick it up, and I do the other side a little bit, and I put it back. And I pick it up, and I put it back. And I go for the other side. Pick that one up. I can suddenly hold it for 10 to 15 seconds longer. Clean, 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 clean. Put it back. Clean, clean, clean. Pick up. Clean, clean, clean. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Get out all that old stuff. Clean up the frog. Get that up off the ground. And go back to the other foot. And now I can hold it for about a minute. And she's calm about it. So the moral of the story is sometimes physically they're unable to hold their feet up based off of the ground you've got them on, based on the position you've got them on, based on their physical condition, their physical health. And forcing a horse to hold their foot up when they're in physical pain is abuse. In the lightest way. I mean, you're not beating them and stuff like that, but I don't think it's kind at all. It's not kind. And it's really important to acknowledge that kind of thing. So talking about the hoofs, trimming and stuff like that, those kinds of things are really important. Those are the physical ones. So anyways, it turned out as I went back and forth between the feet, the front feet, I got them done. By the time I was done, she was able to hold up each foot quite nicely and would ask for them back instead of telling me she needed them back. And this comes with practice. This comes with having a feel of the horse and what feels good to them and what feels good to you. You know, it takes time, but not always when a horse asks for their foot back are they being a jerk or they're being cheeky or rude or any of these other weird words that people come up with. Don't go that direction. Start ask questions. Why do you want your foot back? Look for the first thing I always look for is I look for physical things, and usually it means making sure that both or all 4 feet are clean. Now the next thing that you can do when you're doing this physical part, we'll get to mental in a minute, but the physical part is you look to see if the horse is asking which foot they want done. Horses are smart. Horses are smarter than we are many times. They may not be able to plan ahead like we can, communicate in words per se, make plans, write things down and all that kind of thing that we as humans can do. But they are smart. They know what they need and they know what they want and they know how to get it as long as you're listening. So another story, and actually this one happens so often I could probably generalize it all over the place. But I'll go up and I'll start. I have a habit of starting on the front left foot. It's just habit. So I'll start on the front left and they'll kind of give it up and they'll say, okay, sure. But they'll want it back. And the first thing I do when a horse wants their foot back is I'll look at them and see if they're asking for a different foot to be done. And actually some horses are so good at it, so smart. And if you listen and if you pay attention, if you respond properly in a timely manner, they'll know that you're going to respond in a timely manner and be really good about it, that they'll be really clear. And I've had this one horse, it's just recent, I can't remember which one it was, but I was doing the front left and the horse wanted it back. I said, oh, no problem, here's your foot back, what do you want? And the back right was picked up and held. I wasn't even over there. It was the opposite side, opposite end of the horse. So I pick up my tools, I go around, and I take a look at that foot, and inside that foot is a rock. So, physical. There are physical reasons of why horses don't want a particular foot picked up. Could be pain, probably pain. 99% of the time it's pain. I don't even know what the other 1% would be. Habit or something, some kind of, then it's mental. But they'll have something going on. Be a big frog, long bars, some rock stuck in there, maybe an abscess. Actually, the abscess ones, they generally don't want touched. They say, stay away from that foot. And you'll mess around with it and they'll want it back because it hurts. So it's not always that they're being bad, you know. And if this reaches anybody out there that has a farrier or a trimmer that forces their horse to stand around on 3 legs that may or may not be fit to hold up the horse's weight properly for a length of time, maybe this is some kind of help that you can be, hey, you know what? My instinct said that that was wrong too, because I hear that all the time, almost daily. Oh, my instinct said that it was wrong. My instinct said that I didn't like it and I wanted to say something. And so it isn't right. But that's the physical aspects. We have to be careful. You have to be able to separate the two. And here's where a lot of people go. This is the default reaction. People, not all people, so The ones that we instinctually think, hey, that's wrong. Those people that we're talking about right now. They're ones that immediately go to, it's mental. Meaning that the horse is rude or disrespectful or, there goes Zeus. Where you going, buddy? You getting another stick? Like, why are we sitting out here? This is weird. Let's move. We've already been for a walk out back. It's beautiful back there, by the way. Snow's crunchy enough that I actually can stand on top of it here and there. He didn't, though. He did for a bit, and then for a little bit he'd fall in and stumble over. It was weird. Just kept telling him to slow down. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, okay, so we're back to mental. God, this is turning into such a long conversation. Maybe I talk too much? Do I talk too much? Say yes, you do. Shut up and go back to work. The mental one, the ones that you have to look at, and mentally they don't want to give up their foot. For these ones, I would again say 90% of the time they're afraid. Maybe even more percent. And that's sort of the sad part of it all, in my opinion. I talk about it an awful lot. You leave a horse in a bad place, an afraid place, a scared place, and you leave that. You don't fix it. You don't make them feel comfortable and happy. The sun keeps coming in and out. It's so bright. Here's the thing. If you've got a trimmer or farrier that leaves your horse in a bad place, and they're done their job, I'm done my job, I'm out, and they don't come back and they don't just kind of rub that horse and let them know they're a really good horse and they're amazing and they really care about them and stuff like that, the next time that farrier comes, the next time a farrier comes, they're probably going to have just as hard of a time, maybe harder. So a farrier is a trainer. So many out there say, I don't want to be a trainer, I'm not training horses. And I guess I'll say it straight out, I think that's absolute crap. Every minute you're with a horse, every second you're with a horse, you're a trainer. I don't care if you're just standing next to them. You're still training them to stand. You're training them to not stand if they go to move around and you don't do anything about it. You've trained them to do that now. Every farrier is a trainer. Some of them really suck, but some of them are really good too. So keep an eye out for those ones. When you get them, hold on to them. Don't let them go. Those are the people that understand that if they make it easy this time, it'll be much easier the next time and the time after that. That's my theory. When I go out and trim, I leave those horses 100% of the time in a better place than when I came. And it takes a little longer. And you don't just get your trim done and get in and get out. And that's your job. My job is just trimming. It isn't. You're a trainer too. So mental. We're going back to the mental problem. You come up to the horse and they don't want to give up their feet. Why? I said 90%, but I'm pretty sure it's up near 99%. They're afraid. They're scared. If you look at it that way, if you look at it in that your horse is afraid and scared to pick up its foot, the thing that it needs to escape or fight with, then maybe you'd view it a little differently. And instead of holding on for dear life like you own that foot, you might think, huh, you're pretty scared. Maybe I can make you feel better instead of worse. Those are the mental ones, the ones that you can't treat more rough. And then there's the 1%, I think, that would be left over out of all of these cases. The ones that are aggressive. And the odd thing is those ones are the most afraid. Those ones are the ones that are most scared. And it's really hard to get through to them through reassurance. And sometimes you got to be tough or firm. You don't have to be rough, but you can be firm and tough about it and ask them to listen and move their feet a little bit But very quickly, your timing has to go to reassure, tell them they're okay, everything's fine, you're just here to help. And if you own a horse like that, boy, get that fixed as fast as you can, because you never know when you might have to doctor those things, put a bandage on them, stop some bleeding, without tranquilizing them to get the job done. On the more domesticated ones, the wild ones, sometimes you just can't help it. They're just not ready yet for that human interaction. So picking up the hooves, this turned into a massive, long discussion about picking up hooves. But maybe if I can sort of shift a few minds out there and thinking it's not that your horse is rude or mean or trying to give you a hard time, they got some vendetta against you or any of that crap. It doesn't exist in a horse's brain. They're either hurting or they're afraid. Or both. Then you got to work on both. So, now it doesn't mean that sometimes you can't be too soft. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you can, no different than you would on the ground if you're doing groundwork and doing something basic, just standing. And the horse keeps creeping up and creeping, creeping up. Luke's a great example. He just keeps creeping up and you're like, back up. And they don't, and they keep creeping up. It's no different. It's like, hey, give me your foot. And they're like, nah, I'm good. I want my foot back. So you've got this horse that's not afraid, because obviously they want to just sleep on top of you kind of thing. And they know the rules of the game, the exercise. And you're like, hey, can you just give me your foot? And they're like, nope. Can I just nibble on your shoulder? Something like that. That's just, you know, no different than saying back up, and they back up just a tiny bit, and you're like, no, more, and you just kind of keep at it. You keep bugging them. For those ones, it's just, you're lucky. If you've got one of those horses, you're lucky. Those are the easy ones. Those are the ones where you just consistently get it better. And those are the ones that are healthy. Those are the ones that are healthy in mind. They're not afraid. They're not worried about you. They're not worried about getting hurt. They're not worried they have to run away. They're not worried they have to attack. They're not worried that if they stand on one foot, it's going to go numb or it's going to hurt or any of those things. So, hopefully that makes sense. I haven't paid attention to any of the comments that are coming through, so I apologize if anybody has commented and left already. Sorry about that. I'll check right now. Luckily, my coffee's still a little warm. I'm not sure what temperature it is out here. It's not that cold. So anybody who's feeling sorry for me being out here, I've seen the comment come through. I do check the live streams later to see if I missed anything, and I know that I have, and I keep meaning to write it down, but let's see. There I am. Okay, we'll turn the volume down so I don't have to listen to myself. All right, David says hi. I think I already said good morning to you, but good morning again, sir. It's another beautiful day here in the Lower Mainland. A little bit cloudy here and there, as you can probably see. The Wi-Fi was working really well. That's awesome. I mean, if I can get the whole property, I did go down into the forest, have a little walk, and check to see how far I would get Wi-Fi, which was actually probably about a good 60 feet beyond the arena, which means that maybe I'll be able to get some forest work done live as well. A lot of people want to go out on trails and stuff, so do I have spring cleaning things to do around here? Yeah. When everything starts to melt, for anybody here who manages horses, has a barn or has a horse even, and you get snow, when the snow melts, it's usually a big, huge mess. you've got old piles of poop everywhere, or shredded piles or whatever. It's a ooey gooey mess for sure. Spring cleaning generally means that when it snows and it freezes and the branches of the trees get heavy, a lot of branches will fall down. They'll get buried in the snow. So we'll come along and clean everything up, burn it all kind of thing, and have a spring cleanup sort of like that. Outside of that, things are pretty well managed now around here. You know, we built everything to sort of self-manage a bit. Water drains off nicely. Pathways are all gravel and rock. So we don't have to fix too many muddy spots. Right next to the cedar tree in the arena, there's a little spot there. When the ground gets wet, and the driveway too for that matter is a little bit, when the ground gets wet, which is why when I talk about building paddocks, you want to put in your fabric underneath. So you got your mud and clay, and then you get the fabric on top of that, and then your gravel goes down, because you want to separate the two mediums, meaning the two different types of material that are on the ground. Because if you don't put that fabric in, it's not long before that mud starts to just bubble up and bubble up and bubble up. For paddocks are only 4 inches thick of gravel, maybe. Something like the arena would take forever. I mean, I've got over a foot of material between, but I did put fabric down. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. That's another discussion for another day. Anyhow, so in the spring, generally we'll have to kind of look around and see what spots have kind of get soft and mushy, just to come up a little bit more, and so dig that out a bit, and then put down a big hunk of gravel in there, and it goes back to normal. Carlos says hi from Arkansas. No, I don't know. Arkansas, isn't it? It's like Kansas with an R in front. Good morning, Carla. Thanks for joining. Northern Ireland, S. Gibson, it's great to have you back again. I can't wait to go around the world a little bit more. And I think that I would probably travel through to Ireland if I could. My phone's just notified me my battery's low, but look here. I brought a battery pack. I forgot to plug it in. Okay. We're good. Charging. Stay. Make sure it's charging. It is. Okay. Going back. Okay, so sit back with my crappy phone. Look at this thing. It's got tape on the back because it's so old. I've cracked it. I've cracked the phone I'm using right now. Both sides. Not friendly with my phones, unfortunately. Hello from Scotland. I've never been to Scotland. You know, I have wanted to go there for sure. When I was over in, my mom's from England, so I've been to England a few times when I was younger. No control over where I'd go though, so I couldn't decide. I wanted to leave England and go somewhere else, but when I was older, I went to Ireland. And definitely had thought about, I love the architecture of the castles, the old churches and stuff like that. And so the whole area interests me. Scotland included. Never been though. Wish I could. I just got a message. What does it say? Nope. Got a volunteer coming today. Okay, Carla says, are you ever cold? Yeah. Oh yeah. But not that often. My feet get cold. My hands get cold a little. My face gets cold a little. But usually we're working. Usually we're running around doing something, playing with a horse, or cleaning something up, or fixing something. But sitting here, actually, you know, I've got some coffee and I'm dressed pretty warmly. I've got some wool socks on, kind of thing. It's not that cold in the sun. It probably looks cold, but it isn't. All right, moving on. Thanks for this live stream. My old mare really struggles to hold up her front feet. She leans on me. Horses that lean on people when you trim them, it's dangerous. Ooh, it's dangerous. Don't let your horse lean on you if you can help it. Worst case scenario, we had a local vet who had tranquilized the horse for something. I can't remember what it was for. It was for something probably totally legit. So I'm not saying tranquilizing is bad. And that horse had sorry, had sort of fallen asleep or something like that. And he was leaning over near it, and the horse sort of fell over, and he ended up sort of crashing into the wall, and broke his spine. And through complications, actually, it wasn't too long ago that he died. But it really wakes up the thought and the idea that you don't want your horse to lean on you. You don't want them thinking that you can be a leg, one of their legs. Because if any of the other legs give out and they have to fall and they come down, you'll get squished. So try not to let them lean on you. Horses that have trouble holding up their front feet, usually it means that the other foot hurts and they're not able to sort of maintain that. Don't let them lean. Don't push back. Like, poke them over. Kind of like, get off of me. Don't let them. If you can hold up their foot without sort of touching their shoulder and stuff like that, I would do that too. But check the front feet. Something seems to be wrong. That's my guess. Debbie just woke up from a nap. Good morning, Debbie. Or afternoon. I think you're in middle of the States somewhere. Glad you like the Zeus videos. For everybody that's here, there are 2 more going up today. I did them all yesterday, and they're just all the little intermissions that I do in the videos. Jen was saying, you know, nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to watch. Or not nobody, but, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't going to watch your 30-minute video about training. They're not interested in that. They're interested in this horse you watch. Just take that out. Put it in a separate video. So I did. Carla says I don't talk too much. Whew, thank you. David does too. Thanks, guys. I think I do. A little. Oh, well. All right, moving on. I've just answered your question. You're welcome. Yeah. So there you go, Carla. I mean, there's a lot to sort of think about. Watch for the mental. Watch for the physical. You never know. David says he'd like to come in. Oh, Debbie, that's right. You're in the UK. Sorry. Debbie in Manchester. Yeah. David, yeah, you want to come out anytime, man. You're welcome. We're here all day. Dropping pike off at Poco. Sure. Poco is a place, by the way, if anybody's wondering. Port Coquitlam. Poco. We call it Poco because it's easier than Port Coquitlam. Sure. Come on down. Here all day. I'm hoping it'll warm up a little more and things will start to defrost. I'm going to chuck the horses out. Maybe start up another live stream. It's crazy. There's a lot of live streams lately. Wi-Fi's awesome. I've got a cable coming that I can hook up a lapel mic remotely. So that'll allow me to do more stuff without having to come to the camera all the time. So that'll be good. Yeah. So that's it, I think, for now. God, how many, what are we at? An hour, another hour. Started off with trimming hoof knives. If you guys missed it, I did a little spiel on hoof knives, how to sharpen them. Pretty basic process, but it's not easy to do. Basic, but not easy. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Will you buy me a ticket? I'll volunteer for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, that's it? Yeah, it's nice here. I mean, that's why I come out, sit out here, come with a coffee and just sharpen my knives and just relax. The dog's gone. Oh, no, he's up there. Right there. That lump right there is Zeus. It's just peaceful and nice to be around. Volunteering doesn't always mean that we are perpetually working. Sometimes we're just doing little things or chitty-chatting about stuff. But yeah, today there's a kid coming. She's not here yet. And we get kids coming here sometimes when they want to volunteer and learn some stuff. So that's good. Really proactive. I'm always impressed when somebody wants to trade their time for knowledge, because time is the most important thing that we have. A lot of people will pay, of course, that's just the nature of the business, pay money. But people who trade their time to learn something, especially a young child, you know, I don't know how old she is, teens, it impresses me. So I said, sure, I'll put some effort into teaching and guiding a little, get some of those kids here. So it's good. Anyhow, I'm going to leave it, unless you guys have something more to say to keep me here. Got a boring job to keep. Debbie, you'd show up here? Well, you're always welcome. If anybody's in the neighborhood, you know, in the neighborhood of Canada, BC, you know. And we do have people who come and just visit, hang out, and just pet the horses and stuff, or just watch. And it feels good. They feel good. Horses feel good. So, okay, that's about it for now. I'm going to have to get on with things. When I chuck the horses out, I think I might turn the live stream. I probably won't talk much. Probably get on with things, doing things. But pretty soon, it's starting to defrost a little. Table's almost completely defrosted of all the snow that was on it, so that's a good sign. It's warming up. Plus, I need to keep moving. The question was valid. Do you get cold? Yeah, if I sit around for long enough, it gets chilly. So I'm going to finish sharpening up on my knives, and then I might see you guys a little bit later. If you're interested in just sticking the horses on your TV or something like that, we'll check them out soon. So quiet here. It's almost too quiet. Let's get some action. Anyhow, thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for coming on and asking questions. And yeah, send me an email or call me. Phone number is on the website. Oh, Ruli's playing with ice. Sorry. So yeah, everybody, have yourself a good day so far, or evening, or if you're going to bed soon, and have a good sleep. I'll see you guys again pretty soon. Yeah, and then I'll probably put out a live stream, I think, when I stick the horses out. Should be fun. So, okay, see you guys again.